All right, everybody, welcome to your yoga practice today at noon. We're going to be working into several different areas in the spine, the upper, middle, and lower back. And as we're moving today, it's going to be a rather slower type of practice, but take your time and try to breathe really fully and deeply. A lot of us right now are constricting our breath, constricted in our body. So just spending a lot of time today trying to expand throughout the whole body as we do this practice. So we'll get started off lying on your backs and have the knees bent, feet to the floor. Walk your feet towards the outer edges of your mat and just let the knees fall together towards the midline of the body. Relax the arms out wide and just take a few slow, really deep meditative breaths. Just starting to rest your attention. In the moment you notice the inhale and following the breath all the way to the completion of the exhale. Just two more fully conscious breaths just like that. And then go ahead and reach both arms up towards the sky. So we're going to do a little bit of movement here through the shoulder blades. I want you to reach the arms up and sort of round through the upper back. You're pulling the upper arm bones out of the shoulders. And then do the opposite of that. Try to pull the shoulder blades down into the ground so that the chest lifts a little bit. And just do that two more times, really feeling this part of your body. Spread the shoulder blades apart. Feel broad in the upper back. And then pull the shoulder blades almost like you could squeeze them together on your back. And just do that one more time. Inhale to reach up. Exhale to draw the arm bones down. And then release back to a neutral position with your spine. And you can take the right elbow on top of the left elbow for Garudasana with the arms. If you can't wrap the elbows and the palms together, then just grab a hold of the opposite shoulder blade and just spread across the upper back. I'm taking 3 full breaths into the back of your heart, pressing palms together firmly. Spread your fingers. Keep your eyes, mouth, and jaw relaxed. Nice. And then inhale, separate your arms wide apart. Then exhale, take the left elbow on top of the right elbow this time. So opposite arm on top, palms pressed together firmly. And also try to reach your forearms up towards the ceiling. That helps to spread the upper back. And one more slow and deep breath here into the back of the heart. And then inhale, separate the arms wide apart. As you exhale, just hug your knees in towards your chest. And find that triangular bone at the base of your spine. So you're just going to roll around the sacrum. Just feeling the edges, the borders of the sacrum. Go in one circular direction and then for a couple times and then switch directions. Just feel balanced through the right and the left corners of the pelvis. Right. And then hug both knees in, take an inhale. As you exhale, extend your left heel forward, pressing the left leg to straighten and draw your right knee deep in towards the right armpit. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, draw the knees in towards your chest. Inhale, straighten the legs up towards the sky. So brush the heels towards the ceiling, spread the toes. Exhale, knees draw into the chest. And inhale, draw the left knee in towards your chest now. Right leg extends long. And as you exhale, draw the knees in towards your chest. Inhale, straighten the legs. So you scoop the heels towards the ceiling. And exhale, draw both knees back into the chest. Good. Now, grab a hold of the outer edges of your feet and pull down and come into happy baby's pose, Ananda Balasana. Try to keep your low back and sacrum pressing firmly into the mat as you spread the toes. Anchor your shoulders heavily into the floor. And just take one more deep breath, feeling any tension or tightness in the hips. See if you can breathe one more breath all the way down towards your pelvis. Just imagine the breath can go there. And then from here, roll onto your right side. So roll into the right part of your spine and feel the full weight of your body kind of rest into the right side of your spine. And then slowly rock back to the center, and then come over to the left. Just feeling the whole left side of the back body, adding a little bit more weight and pressure. And slowly come back to the center. Exhale, knees to chest, and you can roll to your side to come up to seated or rock forwards and back a few times. And as you come all the way up to a seat, cross your right shin in front of your left. As you inhale, lift your spine up, draw the shoulders back. As you exhale, just fold forward, nice and easy at the hips. If you want to take the arms forward, and you can rock a little bit side to side, just let this feel really easy, less intensity. Should feel like as we're practicing today, the breath can really flow freely. It doesn't get restricted, or you don't kind of hold it in any place. Just let it move through you. And settle back to the center, and then walk yourself back upright. Take your right arm out to the right. Spin the bicep away from you. Release the right elbow towards the floor, and take the left arm up and overhead. So as you push down to the right forearm, spread your shoulder blades apart. Let that left ring finger extend to infinity as the left sitting bone stays completely rooted down into the earth. Inhale, slowly come back up. And then we'll bring the toe tips to the floor and just lift the legs for a brief Navasana, brief boat pose. Navel to spine, arms forward. Firm the muscles of the legs. So wrap the muscles of the legs around the bones of the legs. Last breath. And then second side. So left shin is in front of the right. Make sure your sitting bones are even with one another. So kind of feel for yourself. The pelvis is balanced. Inhale to lengthen your spine. Exhale, begin to fold forward at the hip creases. And almost right as you encounter resistance, just start to sway from side to side. And if you prefer to stay still, you can, but oftentimes when working with the hips, they tend to get really tight. A little bit of this lateral motion tends to, for me at least, create a little bit of space that wasn't there before. Slowly begin to guide yourself up. And then take the left arm out to the left. So the hand is about in line with the hip. Bend the elbow, take the right arm up and overhead. And again, just feel like the breath is permeating this whole right side of the body. As you spread the shoulder blades apart, you lean the head gently back, make sure the throat feels soft. One more inhalation. And then exhale, slowly press yourself back up. Good. Bring the toe tips to the floor once again. And then lift the legs coming into Navasana boat pose. So squeeze the inner ankles and the shins, spread the toes, chest and sternum draw up, shoulder blades draw down, and then cross your shins, come forward onto all fours in your tabletop. So we're going to take cat and cow today, but I'm going to invite you to turn the palms so that the thumbs are face out and the middle fingers are facing back towards your knees. So this, if you've been doing a lot of work at a computer lately, I have, this can be really nice for stretching out the forearms and the wrists. Keep a little bend into the elbows, and we'll move through cat and cow. So inhale, chest rolls forward and up. Spread the collarbones apart. Exhale, and press the earth away to round nice and deeply. And just continue through that about 5 more cycles, following the inhale all the way to the top, and observing the exhale all the way to the bottom. And as you do these next few cycles through, try to figure out where for you it feels more tight. Is it the upper, the middle, or the lower back? Just kind of creating a little more self-awareness. and then come back to a tabletop position. Stretch your right leg out to the right, and then draw your hip creases back. So you're lengthening your sitting bones back. You can even let that left sitting bone come towards the left heel, but keep your right toes facing straight ahead. So it's almost like a child's pose on that left side. And slowly press back up, rise up, keep the right leg out where it is, and then moving into Parigasana, gate pose. Left arm reaches up and overhead. So keep pushing down into that left shin, finding a nice opening through the left side body. Inhale, come back up, hands to the ground, and go ahead and come back into tabletop. Take the left leg out to the left, and then draw your hips back towards your heels, coming into a child's pose variation. You're lengthening the inner groins back, almost like child's pose. And press back upright. As you rise up, bring your hands at your hips to make sure they feel even with one another. Then slide the left hand down the left leg, right arm reaches overhead. So push that left foot into the floor for more stability. Good, and then come back up. Both knees together, hands to the floor. And last little bit here, before we get a little bit more movement in, take the arms forward a big step. The hips stay right over top of the knees. Arms are strong and straight. And let your heart melt down towards the floor. Your forehead can rest to the ground. And with your arms, just feel like your palms are equally spread. And then spin your biceps up towards the ceiling as the collarbones broaden wide apart. Good. Take one more inhale. Push into the knuckle side part of your palm. Feel the forearms energize and lift. And then walk your hands back right underneath your shoulders. Tuck the toes, lift up and back, come into downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana. And just take your time here. We're going to bend the left knee, drive the right heel down. Just bicycle the legs from side to side. Waking up the calves, the shins, all the way into the hamstrings perhaps. Keep your hips lifting up and back as you take another big inhale. And as you exhale, draw forward into plank pose. Legs are strong and straight, heart reaches forward. Then exhale, lift up and back, downward facing dog. Try to lengthen your spine from your sitting bones reaching up and back. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, forward to plank. Heart reaches forward, collarbones wide. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, down dog. Exhale, step your right foot forward. Back knee comes to the floor. Hands come to the front thigh as you lift the torso upright. And then from here, take your left arm, reach it up towards the sky. Grab your left hand with your right wrist. With your right hand, grab your left wrist rather. And then lift it up. And then stretch over to the right. So create a little more space into the left side. Press the left shin bone down. Inhale, come back upright. As you exhale, hands come to the floor. And then move your right foot a little bit further to the right. So you're coming into a little bit deeper lunge. You can lower down to your forearms or stay upright on your hands. And feel like the right inner knee is lengthening away from you, but the right heel is gently drawing back towards the left knee. So creating a long diagonal opening here for the hips. And one more full breath, just letting your mind stay with this practice today. And it's okay for it to wander, but using the practice as an anchor for attention, see if you can practice that as well. Go ahead and press into the palms, come back up, tuck the back toes, lift the back thigh, and then press back into plank. Lower all the way down to the floor. Setting up now for Cobra Pose, Bhujangasana. Take the legs back a little bit further as you spin the inner thighs to the ceiling. Squeeze the inner ankles together, hands in line with the chest. As you inhale, draw the belly in and reach the chest forward and up. Bhujangasana. Keep the kneecaps lifting, gazes down the cheekbones, and try to draw the elbow tips together as you roll the sides of the chest forward and up. Good, one more breath here. Then exhale, lower down. So 2 more times with the breath. Inhale, lifting up into the Cobra Pose. Exhale, lower down. Strong legs. Inhale, rise. Tailbone reaches to heels. Exhale to lower. And then press back to all fours. And then downward facing dog. Take a breath in your downward facing dog. And as you press into the feet, try to pull the yoga mat apart with your feet, but do it from the upper inner thighs. Try to do that from the upper thigh bones. And then do the opposite. Try to pull the feet together. Create a little bit of tension of the legs squeezing in. And then find just right. Find right in between those two. Good. On your exhale, step your left foot forward. Back knee to the floor. Hands to front thigh. Torso draws up. And then right arm reaches to the sky. Ground into your right shin. Take the right hand, or left hand rather, to right wrist. Reach up and then over. So feel a nice lift up of the right side, body, hip, maybe even into the psoas slightly. Good. Inhale back to center. Exhale, hands down. Move the left foot a little bit leftward and turn the toes out about 45 degrees. And then you can lower down as much as it feels right for you. So for me, this is it. This is as far as I'm going right now. So take a moment and try to settle in. Let the left heel draw in slightly towards the right knee and the heart lengthens forward. And so the breath might carry you a little bit further into the posture. The breath might allow for more space towards the edges of your range of motion. But don't necessarily push for that. Just allow it to happen. And you just let the body be in a receptive space for things to sometimes just click. Good. Walk your hands back so that your hands are right underneath the shoulders. Tuck the back toes, lift the back thigh. Press back into your plank pose. Hold in plank. Then exhale, lower all the way down to the floor. Good. So tops of the feet press down, hands slide forward into Sphinx pose. So your forearms are like the number 11 in front of you. Press into the tops of the feet. Tailbone reaches towards the heels. And then as you drag the arms back, continue to scoop the chest forward and up. Go ahead, take one more breath here. Now, as you exhale, press your pelvis down into the floor. So anchor it in, and then lift the legs up. Hold there for 3. Feel the backs of the thighs firming for 2. Keep dragging the mat back with the arms for 1. And lower thighs down, lower torso all the way down. Just take a breath or 2. Good. Bring the hands back underneath the shoulders. Press yourself back, downward facing dog. And then step your right foot forward, step your left foot forward. Come to a forward fold near the top of your mat. And then separate your feet about hip width distance apart. And just start to shift your weight around to the forward, towards the ball mounds of the feet. Shift the weight maybe around towards the right edge, towards the heels, and just making a little circle with your spine as you move around. And then just settle right into the middle. As you inhale, lengthen your heart forward, Ardha Uttanasana, shoulders draw into your back body. Exhale, refold and lengthen. Again, inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, take the arms to the sky, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands come to the heart center, Samasthiti. Put one round through half of Sun A. Inhale, stretch the arms to the sky, reaching through the ring fingers. Exhale, bow forward and fold, firm, strong legs. Inhale, halfway lift, navel draws into spine. Exhale, fold forward deeply, release the head and neck. Inhale, we rise, pushing down into both feet, grow a little bit taller at the top. And exhale, hands soften back to the heart. Good. Separate your feet a little bit wider than hip width distance. Take both arms up. And then exhale, bring your right arm down by your right side. As you inhale, lift the left arm up. As you exhale, reach up and over towards the right. So getting a little bit more into the left side body. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, press down to rise up. So we're just going to do that one more time. Inhale, hold here. Exhale to reach. Keep the front ribs drawing in, tailbone lengthens, left heel is heavy. Inhale. As you exhale, press into the feet, come back upright. Release the left arm, release the right arm, just pause. Feel the sensation of the left side body. And then right arm extends up. Left hand stays near the left hip. Exhale, reach up and over towards the left. Rounding and opening through the right side. Inhale here. As you exhale, press into the feet to rise up. One more time. Inhale, hold. Exhale, move into that right side bend. Inhale, hold the stretch, feel the sensation, ground the feet. Exhale to rise back up, steady and control. Release the right arm down, and just pause. Again, feel the residue of sensation. Feel where it lingers in your body. And bend the knees, come back into a chair pose, Utkatasana. Sink the hips low, reach the arms up. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, halfway lift. As you exhale, put the left hand down to the floor, or if you have a block at home or you have some books you could use or set up, left hand to the floor or block. Left knee bends, right leg is straight. So you're going to find a nice twist here. And as you ground into both feet, think about the sitting bones reaching back and the crown of the head lengthening forward. Keep the toes soft, last inhalation. Then exhale, fold forward. Inhale out halfway. Right hand to the block or to the floor. Right knee bends, left leg straightens, and stretch the left arm to the sky. And continue to turn and spin from the back ribs. Reaching crown of the head forward, sitting bones lengthen back. Last inhale. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step your right foot back, lower back knee down. Inhale, arms up, one breath. Exhale, hands to the floor, step back, plank pose. Inhale, plank. Exhale, take a chaturanga if you'd like, or lower all the way down. Cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale into downward facing dog. From dog pose, inhale, lift the right leg up and back. As you exhale, knee to nose, step forward. Good. Keep the back thigh lifted this time, pressing the thigh bone towards the ceiling. Left hand is your foundation, right arm reaches up, finding a simple twist. Feel like the left ribs move towards the right inner knee, and then the right outer hip hugs back and in. That's it. Inhale, grow longer from crown of head through the back heel. Exhale, hands down. Step forward, standing forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold deeply. Inhale, arms reach to the sky. Stretch all the way up. Exhale, hands soften to the heart. Gaze softly towards the fingertips. Same thing, second side. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward at the hip creases. Inhale, halfway lift. Collarbones wide. Exhale, left foot back. Knee down. Inhale, arms sweep up. Pubic bone draws up, tailbone down. Exhale, hands to the mat. Step back into your plank. Inhale, plank pose. Exhale to chaturanga or the floor. Inhale, find your upward facing dog or back bend. Exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg lifts. And then exhale, knee to nose, lightly step it forward. Right hand stays, right thigh firms, and begin to turn and spin, coming into your simple twist. Ground the left inner ankle, and then feel that outer left hip hug in at the top thigh. Last inhale breath. Can you get the back thigh a little bit straighter? Exhale, hands down, step forward to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale to fold deeply. Bend the knees, sit back, find your chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, rise to stand, release the arms, and just take 2 breaths. Feel your body completely. Good. So we're going to step the feet wide apart, step the right foot back, and turn your right toes out, setting up for Virabhadrasana 2. So back foot slightly angled in, right knee bends, separate the arms wide apart. Inhale. As you exhale, take your left elbow on top of your right. Again, eagle wrap with the arms, Garudasana arms, spread across the upper back, and take 1 more cycle. And inhale, separate the arms apart. Exhale, straighten your front leg, and you might grab your blocks again, setting up for triangle pose. Right sitting bone rolls and wraps under, root down through the outer edge of the back foot, and right hand comes to the block or floor, left arm reaches up. So continue to grow long through the right side waist, ground into the right inner big toe mound as you turn. Good. So we're going to do a little bit of breath to movement here. As you inhale, gaze up towards the left thumb, spread the chest. Then as you exhale, gaze down and reach the left arm overhead as you round that left side body. Inhale, come back to your balanced triangle pose. Exhale, reach left arm overhead as you ground that left heel, that back heel. Maybe even reach and grab towards your right shin. 1 more, inhale. So the right side waist grows long again, chest expands. And exhale, reach, 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 and round. Maybe grab that ankle or shin. Take 1 more breath. And then sweep the arms all the way up. Eyes back to both feet and pivot your feet around, taking warrior 2 on the left side now. So left leg is forward, left inner thigh lengthens. Press into the outer edge of the back foot. Keep the back hip and shoulder reaching back in space. Inhale. Exhale, right elbow on top of left elbow. So back arm comes on top. Keep lengthening through the left inner thigh. Soften the grip of the toes. Ground the feet, feel the spine lengthen. Good. And then inhale, separate arms apart. Exhale, straighten the left leg. And I like to usually shorten my stance a bit here, so choose for yourself what you need. Then inhale, lengthen the left side as the left sitting bone wraps under. Exhale, left hand down to floor or block. Ground the left inner big toe mound and Feel that right kneecap draw up to strengthen and tone the front of that left thigh. And feel that here you're trying to make both sides of the waist equally long. So we're not rounding here yet. We're maintaining the length. Inhale, stretch the arms apart, maybe look up if it feels okay on the neck. And as you exhale, gazing towards the left foot, reaching around that right side. And you have to bend that bottom arm. Inhale, come back into your triangle pose. Stay rooted in the feet. Exhale, reach. Right arm wraps overhead, gazing down, turning the chest towards the floor slightly. One more time, inhale. And exhale, reach and round. And grab onto something if you can. It's all right if you're just holding that stretch. Take one more breath. And then rise all the way up. Go ahead, pivot the feet to be parallel with one another, setting up for Prasarita Padottanasana. Interlace your palms behind you. If you can't interlace the palms, just grab a strap with the palms facing forward and pull the strap apart to open the chest. Inhale and exhale, fold forward. Thighs are strong and engaged. So with the arms, try to pull the arms apart, but slide the shoulder blades down your back towards your pelvis. And just let the head drop a little heavier towards the floor. Good, take one more breath here. As you exhale, release the hands down. You're going to take your right hand to frame your right toes. Take your left hand to the outside of your right shin. And then let your head and neck drop as you bend the left elbow. You're going to pull away the torso from the right thigh. And that should start to feel a little bit of sensation in the left inner border of the shoulder blade. If you need more, just bend the left knee slightly. That might help you. One more breath. Really let the head be heavy here. And slowly straighten the left leg. Carefully come back to the center. And then right hand comes to the outside of the left thigh. Left fingertips are right in front of the left toes. Bend the right elbow, drop your head and neck. And then lean your torso away from that left shin. Stay grounded into the feet. Good, and then slowly come back to the center. Plant your palms and you can just press the floor away, just step or hop the feet together. So I'm going to give you now about 2 minutes on your own and a couple of options for you. One option is to take your legs up against the wall for some support for an inversion. So you might sit next to the wall, lean back, take your legs up for about a minute, maybe 2 minutes. Other inversions, you can practice your headstand. You can come into handstand, maybe 2 30-second holds of one of those two. So you have a few things to play around with on your own and build some creativity into your own practice. I'm going to be doing headstand. And if you are going into headstand, just a friendly reminder to keep your head, to not kick up on your head. So if you're trying to get into headstand, trying to lift up is ideally the engagement you want to create. So you can come from a tripod headstand, elbows drawing in, shoulders drawing away from the ears, lifting the hips up. Maybe you bring one knee in, maybe the other. Maybe you just hold here, lifting the shoulders. But eventually it should just be a lift and a float. Continuing to wrap the shoulders back and keeping the front ribs in. And once you finish that, just come to a child's pose, take a couple of breaths. Good. If you have a second set of something you want to do, another 30 seconds or so, we have some time for it. All right. So in the next 3 to 5 breaths, try to get yourself back into downward facing dog. From there, take an inhale in your dog pose. Then exhale, draw your right knee in towards your left elbow. Then extend your right leg straight out to the side. Lower your hips all the way to the floor. So your right leg is straight out across from you. Back leg, you can have the leg straight, or you can have the top of the foot down, leg straight. And then turn your chest towards the floor. So you're letting this left outer hip and back wrap forward towards the right leg and lengthening your chest forward. You might even be up here on your hands, it's fine. Or some of you might have the space to lower all the way to the floor. What I do want you to do is to breathe fully and consciously into that right outer thigh, outer hip region. And peel the pinky edge of the right outer shin back, or the pinky edge of the right foot towards the right outer shin. And one more breath here. Good. Bring your hands back underneath your shoulders. Slide your right leg into a pigeon pose. So this right leg is going to come into pigeon pose. Flex the right toes, press the right outer shin down. If you need to, if this is any pressure or pain in your knee, come onto your back or come out of the pose entirely. You can come into a figure 4 stretch. Top of the left foot down and press the floor away with the top of the left foot and the right outer shin. Keep that. Try to hug the outer hips together or the sitting bones together. And then scooping the belly back, begin to fold. So keep a little bit of work, a little bit of extra work in the legs for the first 5 breaths or so here. We're going to explore a few more motions from here. Relax the eyes. Notice if you've become at all lost in thought, and just re-invite your attention back into the moment. Maybe by just noticing the sensation in your right hip. Last breath. Good. Now, slide your left forearm across your body so that it's in line with the right shin. And then right fingertips to the outside of your right knee. Press into the top of that back foot as you spin and turn your chest. Good. You should feel this a little more in that right outer hip. Keep the right foot very active here to protect the knee and ankle. And then slowly return back to the center. And then you're going to walk toward the upper left-hand corner of your mat and bring your left hand to the sole of your right foot. As you do that, then keep drawing the right hip back and reach the right arm forward and overhead. So you get this nice long stretch to the back right side. Let the head drop, take a breath or two. Slowly walk your way back to the center. Plant your palms, press yourself up. Step back into plank pose, and then choose to take a vinyasa or just transition to downward facing dog. So modify the practice to serve you today. What type of energy do you have? What type of mood state is present? When you come back to down dog, take your right heel, spin it in and down as you push into the outer edge of your right foot. Turn to the right. Get into that right outer hip. And then slowly come back to parallel with the feet. Inhale in dog pose. Exhale, left knee across towards the right elbow. And extend the leg out. Lower the hips down. So you can keep the back toes tucked or press the top of the foot down, but try to keep this leg very straight, foot flexed, and then fold forward. So the right outer hip is wrapping forward and down. Staying with your breath. Keeping that left leg straight. So it's like the left heel is reaching apart away from the left sitting bone. Very nice. Take one more cycle breath here. And then walk your hands back underneath the shoulders. Slide the left leg into pigeon pose. So keeping the foot really active here. So flex the foot, press the left outer shin down, top of the right side down. Outer hip squeeze in, pubic bone draws up, then begin to fold a little further forward. So give yourself all of the space that's easily accessible with good alignment. And as you tune back into the quality of your breath, just notice, can you keep the inhales and the exhales an equal amount of effort? Being sure not to push or pull one more than the other, but just allowing them to permeate through the body. The prana, life force energy moving through you. Good. Now take your right forearm across your body so it's parallel to the left shin, left fingertips to the outside of the left knee. Really energize and root down through the top of the right foot as you spin and turn from the back ribs. Our last inhale. Exhale, return back to the center. And then walk your way over towards the upper right-hand corner of your mat. Hand to the sole of the foot. Push the foot into the hand. Push the hand back into the foot to draw the left hip back. Then reach those left fingertips out and away from you. Tailbone continues to wrap back towards the heels. Or towards the right heel, I should say. Good. And slowly come back to the center. Press yourself up. Back to plank pose. And then choose to take a vinyasa or transition back into downward facing dog. Once you come into your downward facing dog, just take one fully conscious breath, staring at the ankles, resting the eyes, and then lower down to your knees. I'm going to ask you to have a seat up onto a block. If you don't need one, you don't need to take it, but coming into Virasana Hero's pose, so you might want to grab the thumbs to the backs of the calves and pull the calves back to make a little more space for the knees, and then have a seat sitting nice and tall for your spine. And then really self-care oriented today, you're going to take your knuckles and just run them down the arches of your feet. Just give yourself a little bit of loosening through this fascial tissue at the base of the feet. So this band of fascia actually wraps all the way from the back of your feet to the front of your forehead. One big band of connective tissue. So this oftentimes helps to alleviate some of the tension that we build through the rest of the thoracic and lumbar spine. So just a couple more times running your knuckles down. Nice part about this is you can do it anytime for yourself. It's a nice little therapeutic tool. All right, so release the hands away from the feet, and you're going to take your right arm back, left hand to the outside of the right knee. So you're turning and twisting the chest. Keep rooting down into your sitting bones so you feel that the inhales draw you taller. Exhales help you to turn and rotate. Maybe even reach that right arm back. You can reach the fingers to expand the chest, or if you have a wall or something, you can push into it. One last breath, collarbones wide. Then exhale, slowly release back to the center. Just pause, feel the right side of the body. And then second side, so left fingertips back behind you, right hand to the outside of the left knee. And as you inhale, that helps you to elevate the spine. Exhales help you to twist and rotate. So inhales, think about drawing up from the sitting bones. Exhales, think about expanding the collarbones wide and turning. Maybe reach that left arm, see if you can stretch like there was someone pulling that back arm. And then exhale to release. Go ahead and remove your block. And we're going to take the right knee on top of the left knee for Gomukhasana with your legs. So for many of us, this is not easily accessible. You might need to sit up onto a blanket, right to the edge of a blanket. You may need to just take right shin in front of the left shin like we did earlier. But if you can, try to get the knees stacked right on top of one another. You can make the pose a little bit more challenging for yourself by moving the feet wider and further apart. Inhale here, bring the thumbs to the thigh bones, ground them down. And then exhale, fold forward, nice and easy. So just a couple of breaths in this shape. And just feeling the sitting bones heavy, rooted down and back. Very nice. And then start to come back up. And then release the legs and just switch. Left knee on top of the right. Make sure your sitting bones are grounded though. So if one is forward or back from the other, you want to get them both on the same plane. Really important, especially as the sitting bones are a foundation in our seated asanas or seated postures. And begin to fold at the hip creases. So really think about folding almost all the way from the groins. Let the inner groin soften down. Allowing the pubic bones to release back and folding forward. And these next two breaths, could you maybe expand them towards the pelvis? Good, come back up. Now, take the legs wide out for Upavishta Konasana. So, legs stretch out. Thigh bones are strong and firm. So, even if you don't need to sit up onto something, bring your fingertips back behind you to lift the spine, straighten the legs, and press the heels away. So, you want to feel the long line of energy from the inner thighs all the way through the inner big toe mounts, and then pinky edges of the feet all the way through outer knees and outer hips. Then you fold forward from the hip creases. So maintaining all of that length and energy of the legs. And then using the breath to find more space through the rest of the body. Being reflective of when you've perhaps gone too far, if the breath has become shallow or you've become lost in thought, just maybe you need to decrease the intensity with which you're practicing. Good, one more breath here in Upavishta Konasana. Good, so now we're gonna do something that I've really started to integrate this more into my regular practice. And it feels really good for the spine if you kind of get the right movement pattern. So you're gonna lean the right shoulder down and in towards the right inner thigh and bring the right forearm down towards the inner thigh and then sweep that left arm forward and up overhead till you come into this side bend. And then to come to the other side, you're going to reach forward. So this left side continues to lengthen as you reach forward. And then once you cross through the midline, the right arm reaches forward like you're scooping the air and then turning the left ribs towards the sky Right ribs are fanning open. And just kind of swim back and forth between these two, trying to reach forward now with the right hand, crossing back through the midline, and then over to the right. That left arm lengthens the whole left side body. So you're reaching forward, getting a little bit more space through the front range, and then scooping up through the side body movement. And then one more each side. Good. And as you come back through the center, then come upright. Bring the hands to the backs of the knees. Good. And then we're going to come on to our backs, setting up for a little bit of work in bridge pose. So as you press down into your feet, begin to lift your hips up, scooping and lengthening your tailbone forward. Maybe grab a hold of the outer edges of your yoga mat, maybe interlace the palms. Really tuck the shoulder blades under you as you gently press the base of the skull down. And then feel as you're rooting into your feet, can you draw the inner thighs towards the floor and then scoop the tailbone more forward. Good. And then release the shoulders. Release one vertebrae at a time back to the floor. And just rest. Feel the energy of back bending in your body. Good. So take your right knee on top of your left knee. Move your hips a little bit to the right. Take your knees over to the left. This is a nice gentle twist. So that right shoulder should stay heavy into the floor. Right knee is just helping to lengthen the right side. And unwind your legs, come back to center. And then over to the second side. So left knee on top of right, hip shimmy to the left, and then knees to the right. Keep the left shoulder heavy. So this should be fairly mild in comparison to the rest of our practice. Unwind your legs. Come back to center. And then hug your knees in towards your chest. Take one final breath in and just really fill yourself with gratitude that you've taken this time, you've spent this time today to take care of yourself, to engage with your practice. And then extend everything out. Just let the body go completely. Shavasana. If you need any props or anything to set yourself up, be sure to grab that. And as you lie here, just let your mind be like a mirror that just simply reflects back whatever arises. And just as the mirror doesn't move closer to objects or further away, just let your mind be vast and open. So reflect back whatever arises exactly as it appears. Noticing that thoughts, sensations, emotions are all just patterns of energy, and that the prior context is consciousness. So notice whatever subtle shift takes place moment by moment. In the last minute or so now, just see if you can rest your attention back onto the breath without changing the breath at all. So no pushing or pulling, just watch the breath as it comes. Notice it and watch it as it leaves. Wherever you notice the breath most clearly, just stay with that fixed point for a little moment longer. And then slowly start to deepen your breath. Roll out through the hands and feet, start to wake up the limbs. And then one at a time, hug the knees in towards your chest as you roll to your right side. And take your time here. There's no rush. There's no rush. And pressing yourself up to a comfortable seat. As you sit for a moment, just notice the feeling in your body and in your mind. And to perhaps bring even more to this experience, let's just take a moment to find one thing that we're grateful for. There's one thing that truly you can see as a blessing in this moment. Maybe it's your own health. Maybe it's connectivity with family. Whatever it is that you find truly as a gift and a source of gratitude in this moment, just stay in with that for a moment longer. And then notice the feeling too here that comes with bringing about this feeling of gratitude. Notice the imprint it has on your mind and body. And then feel the hands at heart center as we salute and honor the essence of yoga within ourselves. We acknowledge the divine light and nature that resides within each of us. Namaste. And thank you all so much for joining today. It's a pleasure to be back and sharing the practice with you all.